Okay, hi guys, welcome back to another review. This is an interesting little device. This is the Shanling M3X. This is a sort of entry mid-level music player. It's not a, people are going to say this is a budget device, but a budget device I consider something that offers the core functionality of the sound with good quality DACs and amps, but are really sorely sort of lacking on features. Like most of them don't even have a Android interface, can't be used with Spotify, Tidal, etc. This one offers that sort of functionality, but also expands on that by offering various headphone inputs, various use cases, like whether you want to use it with a computer as an external DAC, or you want to use it as a transport unit, or you just want to use it as a high-res streaming device. There's a lot of functionality baked into this, and it gives you a lot of the functionality that something like the Shanling M6 Pro that I've got here. You can see that the two units they're very similar style-wise, and they're actually very similar functionality-wise as well. The biggest difference between these are that this one is running the AKM DAC units, and this one is running the dual Sabre units. So traditionally there is a big difference between Sabre and AKM, although the way that Shanling are tuning it is obviously going to play the biggest part. And Shanling traditionally, and I'll come back to this later, Shanling traditionally tune their stuff quite cold. Anyway, let's go into the packaging, then the construction, then we'll go into the sort of the software features, and then of course the sound. The M3X comes in this box. It's perfectly adequate, nice quality box, typical of what you get with most Shanling stuff. The USB-C cable in there, as well as two screen protectors, a warranty card, and a user manual. It's nice that they include the screen protectors, because these sort of devices are very limited quality in circulation, so it's going to be hard for you to find a screen protector aftermarket usually. Although if you do look for something like that from these sort of devices, then I suggest you check out AliExpress. You're going to wait for a long time to get it from China, but that's usually the source where you're going to get it. This one comes with a screen protector installed in the back, which I've not removed because I know it's a pain in the ass to install a screen protector, but also that this is going to be a fingerprint magnet. It's a glass back panel similar to the one on this, so it adds that sort of touch of premium feel to it. It's got an all metal chassis around it, and then a glass panel in the front. So, for $350, it's very nicely built. It feels sturdy. It's not really got the weight. I think it was about 168 grams on my scales. So it's not really got the weight and the heft. Like, this feels reassuredly strong. Similarly, Astle and Kern players, I think they try and make them a little bit more dense, so they have a little bit more sort of hand weight and feel to them. The balance of it is fine. It's a little bit to the top heavy side, but I think most people will be fine with this. And this little groove here on the side actually feels very comfortable in the hand when you're holding it. Let's go around the device. So on this side you have the power pot, or the power button. I call it a power pot because it's a potentiometer with a integrated power button on the inside, so you can press it to turn the device on and off. You have a little LED light there, and of course you can control your volume settings there. Down on the bottom you have the USB-C port, and this controls both the DAC functionality and the charging. So it's not a separate port for each usage case. This is a weird one, and I don't know how I feel about it. This is the micro SD card slot. This is sort of similar to what you see on mobile phones in a way, but it's got this little door that doesn't seem to fit quite perfectly, and I would be kind of worried about that coming off. It's the only part of the device that doesn't feel quite in keeping with the rest of the build quality. It's just hanging on by a small a little piece of plastic there, and yeah, it's just, you can see it's a bit of a pain in the ass to get it to seat properly. Just a weird sort of inclusion. I think they would have been fine if they just did the standard sort of micro SD card slot like you get on this one. Has it here? You know, if you just had that would have been absolutely fine. The unit's not waterproof, so you don't really need to protect the card from that much. On this side you have the volume playback controls, which of course skip, play, pause, scroll through your tracks and stuff like that, the usual. The buttons feel really nice, very premium feel, nice click, nice sort of concave design to them so your finger fits in there quite easily, and it is quite easy to operate this unit in your pocket just because of the location of the buttons. On top you get the standard 3.5mm jack and the balanced output, and there's also switchable line out functionality in there as well. So that means that you can run it as a line out instead of a headphone, but just be careful because you have no control over the volume from the device if you're running it in line out mode. The screen, I believe, is a 4.2-inch screen, and it's pretty decent. It's quite solidly bright, and yeah, I've got no real problems. It's responsive. Overall, the operating system is a little bit on the sluggish side. And I mean, just like a fraction of a second to display sort of album art or that sort of thing, but there's no problem skipping between tracks or scrolling through tracks and stuff like that. That's absolutely fine. And the Wi-Fi is a little bit slow to download, although this does include 2.4 and 5 gig Wi-Fi. So I mean, the functionality is there. You can see it stutters just a little bit every now and again. This is on Tidal, so this is going over the Wi-Fi. So I don't think it's the device that's slowing down the operating system, scrolling down that, because you can see when it's fully loaded, it's got no problems, but it's when it's getting the information onto the device. Of course, I'm in Colombia, so this could be something to do with the terrible Wi-Fi that we have over here, terrible internet. So for the most part, I've been using this with Tidal, although I have had my micro SD card in it with 220 gigs of music, and it downloaded the music absolutely no problem, found everything, and for the most part found all of my album art. Tidal, again, absolutely fine. You know, you can see that it's scrolling well, it's working well. Just solid device. So in terms of functionality and stuff like that, I'm the type of person that is either going to use two things. I'm going to use Tidal, or I'm going to use just the inbuilt player. The inbuilt player is fine, although it's kind of a little bit tacky. The thing that I really like about the player is that once I'm listening to my music, you pull down from the top, you have your standard Android operating system playback. I think it's Android 7.0, so that's something else it's a little bit dated on. We can nuke the screen, so you can see it actually does get very bright. When you pull down from the top, this is where you get access to the functionality, and where something like this really comes apart from just using your mobile phone. It gives you all your options for your customization of your playback, and that is something that I really like, and the reason why I stick to using dApps over just using my phone as a sole device. The optionality here, switching between phone out and line out. And of course it will come with a warning saying that when you switch the line out, the volume's going to be jacked and not be controllable. You have the gain mode switches here, high, low gain. You have your audio settings, which is basically just an extension of what you're seeing in that menu. Let's go back from the top. You can switch between dual and single DAC. For the most part, I was using it with the dual DAC set up in the balanced output. The AirPlay functionality, Android mode, storage, and a couple of screenshot things. So it's not super advanced, but it gives you all that sort of core functionality, because I found that this device was very picky with the headphones when you're setting it in the wrong gain setting. When you're using it with, for example, I was using these with high gain, seemed to sound better. These are the Nice Hick EBX21s. But when I was using like my Shure SE846, I would play about with your headphones, play about with the dual DAC, single DAC, the gain settings and stuff like that, and find out what works for you. In terms of sound quality, the sound quality is good. I mean, it's kind of pointless at this point talking too much about sound. The sound is going to be way more dictated by what headphones you're listening to. All that really matters is this can provide a neutral or transparent output, and then if you want to color through EQing or use your headphones, your choice of headphones is going to have a way greater influence on the sound tuning of the device. As I say, Shanling usually does quite a cold tuning on their devices, and this one actually doesn't follow in, which is quite a different experience, because the Sabre DACs are traditionally thought of, although this is a wrong assumption about Sabre DACs, that they're cold. You can have a warm sounding Sabre DAC. It just depends on what the manufacturer is trying to achieve and how they're trying to achieve it. But this has I would say, neutral and very slight hint of warmth in the mid-range, just the slightest, barely detectable, but it was just a little bit different coming from the AKM, which is quite cold and transparent. This is very transparent. It has good wide soundstage. It's quite open. Detail retrieval's excellent. And if you're using it with any good set of headphones, you're going to get amazing sound out of this device. And I think when you consider overall the functionality of the device, the variety of ways that you can use this, the sort of quality of the screen, you've got a really, really, really solid device that's very hard to criticize. It's not going to have the premium feel of the higher end stuff, but you're paying half the price. And you're getting, I would say, 90% of the functionality of the higher end stuff. Yes, if you're going to go to some super high end headphones, you're going to get a little bit more out of it in terms of transparency and overall presentation. I mean, there's quite a gulf in sound between the Dotonry and the M3X. But this is no slouch, and for the money, I think it's one of the best little devices out there. Just especially if you're somebody that uses a multitude of headphones, you switch between balanced and 3.5. You maybe want to hook it up to your computer. You want to use it as a transport to an external unit as well. I think it's a very solid little device, and it's very well priced, and something I would definitely recommend that you check out. So that's it for this review. I'm thinking I'm going to get on with the review of these badass little Timsock headphones. These are serious piece of kit. I'm going to get on with the review of that, and I've got a couple of other little things coming out. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I've got this E1DA 9038D, a little DAC unit or DAC amplifier unit. Very cool little device, and this is the one that comes in 3.5 and not balanced, so I'm excited about that. I also have the Shanling UP4 here to do, and I think I have a couple of other things as well. I've already posted the Shawzies, and I've got this NFJ and FX audio amplifier, which is a badass little amplifier. Really like that. So if you want to see any of those reviews, just like, subscribe, comment, whatever. I know that I've rambled in this review, but I don't really like doing DAP reviews, because most DAPs at this point are worth about what their money is. And this one does exactly that. It does everything I expected. It's not had any shutdowns, it's not had any glitches, it's not freaked out on me. Just a solid little device, well priced, powerful enough to drive most of my headphones, and yeah, something that I can see a lot of people in the community using in the next year or so. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.